It can be quite shocking how, when the narcissist discards you, you're so focused on them still. You're so much wondering how and if there's any way you can still make the relationship work. Whereas the narcissist seems to be able to move on so easily, and at the same time, they seem to find a new replacement so quickly. It's almost like out of nowhere, they have this new person and they're all about this new person. You probably see pictures or stories of this new person on their social media or people talking about them. Whereas you never even knew that this new person was in the picture, but now they're all about that person. It's their shiny new toy. You feel completely worthless because you were discarded in a very indifferent, brutal manner, whereas they seem to be all about this new person, and it's like you're the last thing on their mind, while they are the only thing on your mind. So that mismatch between how you feel about them and how they feel about you is shocking to say the least, and just completely brutal to say the most, and it's all very confusing. So the narcissist's new toy, they really do they really are appreciating their new toy. They're really focused on that new person, and they're all about getting all the supply out of the novelty from that new person. And chances are they've been grooming that person in the background while they were with you for a long time. But obviously, they try to do that without you knowing about it. And the reason that they were able to move on to this new person so quickly was because they were testing and grooming the person in the background. You know, when the narcissist, when they give you those silent treatments, those disappearing acts, always on their phone, the messaging, a lot of that's grooming the replacement. And that's why narcissists are so secretive about things like, the phone, who they message, who they talk to, who they meet up with, because they don't want you to know about them testing potential replacement supplies. And when they have a good potential replacement, the actual grooming process, obviously, they need to keep you at a safe distance from all that so they can actually go through that process in a way that works for them. So they're onto this shiny new toy. They're all about that person. You are in a mess and you don't even know where to start in terms of recovering, whereas they are over the moon. They're just feeling great. And the fact that they know that you're feeling awful makes them feel even better. So the narcissist is getting supply on two fronts. On the one hand, the new replacement, the novelty of that person, just this newness and the excitement that energizes the narcissist. And secondly, the narcissist knowing that you're in a very miserable, dark place also supplies them because it makes them feel great. It uplifts their ego and validates them and makes them feel very desirable. So you actually, you are forced because you were the one who received the discard, because you were the one who was dumped by the narcissist, you are actually forced to go through a healing process. You are actually forced to go through a self-reflection and improvement process, where the narcissist doesn't do that. So the healing process for you can take time, but you do improve, you do get stronger day by day, whereas the narcissist isn't doing any healing, any growth. They just have a new distraction that they're triangulating you with, in a sense that they put this other person kind of above you in their mind, and they're all about this new person, and that kind of puts you down. So this whole triangulation process makes them feel good because they orchestrated it. But they only feel good for as long as A, the novelty of the new supply is still very empowering and potent, and B, them knowing that you are still very miserable. And what happens is, on both of those fronts, the narcissist soon starts to lose supply. And what I mean by that is, the novelty of the new person starts to wear off. Maybe not in the first few days, but over the course of weeks and months, the novelty of the new person starts to wear off. So they start getting less supply from that. But they're still hoping they're getting supply from the misery that they've left you in. But when you start to heal and you are no longer supplying them by just wanting them back and chasing them at all costs, then you're also not supplying them. And the very unfortunate place that the narcissist gets is that narcissists don't heal, narcissists don't grow. What they want and need is supply. So they're losing the supply from the new person because the novelty is wearing off, and they're losing the supply from you because you're healing and you're starting to care about them less and less. Now they've got an issue because they they don't really know how to make the new person a more potent supply. Of course, they'll start to devalue the new supply in due course. The new person becomes very dull, and the new person, the supply becomes weaker. But by devaluing that person, the narcissist gets a little bit more of a kick. But the devaluation supply is not nearly as good as the potency of the supply they have at the beginning at the love bombing stage. Because when they're conquering the new person, when they're excited about the newness of that experience, that really energizes them in a fashion that, it's really potent supply. But where you get to is the narcissist very soon finds that that new person can only give them a limited amount of supply, and they need more. So they want to get more supply out of you. And preferably at the beginning anyway, they want to prove to themselves that you're not healed, that you're not growing, that you still want them back. So they try to find ways to put you down. Maybe they're posting more on social media about how happy, quotations, happy they are with the new person. Maybe they hoover you in a way almost to put you down because they just to say, oh, they hope you're doing well. There maybe wish things had terminated better between you two, but things couldn't work. In a way, sometimes in narcissist hoover, they try to come across as a nice person, but the hoover is actually designed to put you down. So what the narcissist is doing there is, because they're not getting the supply they need from the new person, they're trying to get supply by putting you down. But if you either don't entertain the hoovers, you don't give them any insights into your life, or just simply it's clear that you've moved on from them, or that you're moving on and healing, then a narcissist has a real problem because they're not getting sufficient supply from the new person or from you. And at that point, if you've actually healed, if you're actually improving and moving on with your life in a healthy way, if you do reach that point, and a lot of people don't, but if you do reach that point, that's where the narcissist looks at you and thinks, okay, you are now a better option than their current supply. So their shiny new toy that's no longer shiny now feels very mediocre, and now the prospect of you that's moved on, you're just so much better. And that's where narcissists try to come back to their previous supply. And that's where you might notice them doing the strangest things to make it look like they've self-reflected, they've improved, they're no longer toxic, etc., etc. Maybe they're going to therapy. Maybe they're being very nice to mutual friends with you, and then so that those mutual friends might talk to you and say, oh yeah, I think this person's really changed, he's really nice, maybe you should give them another chance, and so on. A lot of times narcissists don't go back to the former supplier or don't want the former supply, and that's especially when the former supply is in a continuously miserable place, or if the former supply exposes the narcissist to a lot of people, then a lot of times that means the narcissist won't want anything to do with the former supply. But if you didn't expose the narcissist to a lot of people, you didn't cause that kind of shameful narcissistic injury, and let's say you're moving on into a healthier place and you're growing, when that happens, then that does tend to attract the narcissist back because all of a sudden you've become their best option. So just realize when the narcissist is onto their new supply and that new shiny toy, who all of a sudden you feel like that person is so much better than you, that you're worthless, just know a couple of things. That new shiny toy will only be shiny for a short period of time, okay? Anything you see in social media or in public, kind of the public arena, is very manufactured and fake. And also know that narcissists are still dependent on you to supply them even after they discarded you. They want to know that you haven't moved on, and they want to know that you still desire them back. And that once you have moved on and you don't want them back and the new supplies become dull and boring, that's where narcissists so often have that change of heart, where they just try to scheme in the best, most creative way that they know how to get you back, because all of a sudden they now see you as their best option. Thanks for watching.